In today's video we're going to be reviewing the 2023 Giant Rain Advance Pro. So the first thing I want to run through is the spec of bike that I got. So I have the Pro 2. This model comes in a Pro 0 and a Pro 1 and a Pro 2. So Pro 0 is more for the factory riders, fully kitted out, no expense spared. Then the Pro 2's the super entry one, which I got, and then the Pro 1 is the in-between. So it's a bit more gear than the Pro 2, but not quite as much as a Pro 0, and about the price point's about the same. Pro 2's a more affordable carbon frame, and we'll get into more of the specs now. So as for the frame, all the models have the same frame, just in a few different colorways. Personally, I like this Pro 2 color the most, so that's such a bonus for the affordability, having the best looking frame. So something cool that they've brought out on this year's model is the frame storage. So you can open it up and it's got like a little pouch in there. Perfect place to stash just like your keys, your phone, some snacks for the trail, or even some tools, like a multi-tool pack. Super cool idea, gets everything out of your pockets, makes riding so much more fun, and you don't even notice the extra weight or anything because it's in such a good spot for low center of gravity and everything. So that's super cool that they've done that to this frame, like a lot of other bikes now. And I'd say the next best thing is the adjustability of this frame, having 3 different settings on the rear, so you can go for a low setting, mid setting, and a high setting. I've currently just got it on the medium setting with the 29-inch wheel, and you can run a 27.5-inch wheel and run all the settings, so low, medium, or high, and really dial into your type of riding style. So that's super cool that I've done this on the carbon frames. It comes with these little inserts, so there's 2 sets. You get one that runs it in the middle, that comes with the bike, and then another set that's offset with the center hole, so you can flip it up and down to whether you're on a low setting or a high setting. So we'll try that out in a later video, but for now I'm just going to be running set in the middle and with a 29-inch wheel front and back. So I am running the medium frame. I'm about 171 centimeters tall, so I was kind of on that in between of being on the taller side of a small or a shorter side of the medium, but because there's heaps of adjustability, I decided to go for the medium, and I can always try and make it feel smaller by chucking on a smaller back wheel and adjusting everything. So we'll muck around with that stuff later, and we'll get into what else this bike has. So I've just got the Zeb Select on the front, so they come in a lot of different sizes and models. So I've got the base model in 170mm, which is perfect for this bike. It's not too crazy because you don't need it too big for enduro riding, so this is a good start. Keeps the weight down a bit. It has standard adjustability with rebound, fast and slow, and then just air pressure. I've currently set it just to my weight standing, and I think it was about 55 psi in the front. For the couple rides I've been on, it's been feeling really good, so super happy with that. On the rear, it's the same kind of setup where it just has adjustability for fast and slow rebound, and I've set that up to also my weight limit may be a bit softer because I'm running flat, so I like to have it a bit softer on the rear to get a bit more grip and a bit more sag. So it's about 32 or 35% sag. Pretty easy to set up this bike. Alright, so up the front we have the 2 brakes and the shifter. So we're running, I think it's the Shimano Dior dual piston brakes with massive rotor on the front, smaller 204 rotor on the back. The braking power is amazing, so this is like the entry level brake, like dual piston brake, so from Shimano, so it's super cool to get that on this model. I probably need to wear in the brakes a bit more because they keep getting better and better with each ride, so a couple rides time this thing's going to be ripping. So for the drivetrain we have SLX for most of it, with the shifter SLX, derailleur, and the cranks all SLX, and then our cassette is Shimano Dior. So full 12 speed, shifts amazing, super responsive, not too noisy, and just super smooth. So all around, this is exactly what you need for this model of bike. So we have full black wheel set, which looks super sick. We're running Maxxis tires front and rear with the Assegai on the front, 2.5, and a Minion DH on the rear, so, and 2.4. Really good combination. Running these tire pressures about 24 in the front and 28 in the rear. Found it's really good for still getting responsive pedal power and still getting grip in the turns. That's a little tip if you want to set your bike up similar to mine. Comes standard with a good dropper post, pretty comfy seat, not much, nothing really special there, but I think it's 175mm travel on this seat, so it gets out of the way when you're going down and it pops up high enough for the climb, so super good for my height. So the handlebars are about 800mm wide, so I will be chopping those down soon and probably upgrading the grips to something a bit comfier, and they'll probably be the first upgrades that I do to this bike. Chop the bars down to about 760mm since I'm not that tall, don't really need the wide reach, and hopefully it'll help with handling. So I have set my stem up at about mid stack on the front, so I'm still playing around with what height that I want the handlebars and stuff. Once I cut them down, I'll be able to adjust if I need the handlebars up higher or lower, or just leave them where they are in the middle. And for the rest of the bike, pretty much just put flats on, set the pressures up, so I think that's all we had to do to set it up, and now be a good time to go ride it. So I think I've covered everything on this spec of bike. If you have any questions or anything, make sure to leave it down in the comments and I'll try to respond and let you know anything about this bike. But I'm super excited to get into riding this, and just the couple times I've ridden it already, it's amazing how much quicker this bike is compared to the Polygon, which I was kind of didn't want it to be this much better, since I really liked having a budget bike, and then this bike being a lot more expensive, kind of didn't want it to be that much better, but it kind of really is. It's super smooth all around. Alright, so we're ready to go out for our first test ride of this bike at Oropi. There's about a 30-minute loop that I do around here. It has a lot of descending, a lot of climbing, and a couple jumps in the mix, so it's going to be a perfect all-round ride to see what this bike's capable of and how smooth it is across all different terrains. So I'll switch to the GoPro and take you guys along with me. Alright, so just before we get started, we're going to utilize this frame storage and chuck my keys and maybe a GoPro battery in there, so pretty much take that out, take out the sleeve, and then this just velcros out, so I'll chuck my keys in. And always good to put it near the bottom of the pouch as well, because then it sits down in here, so stops it from shaking around a bit. So it's been really good though. I've been able to chuck in a lot of tools, like a multi-tool pack, keys, even like a muesli bar or something. You just put the sleeve back in and clip that on. Alright, so we're going to be going straight into a grade 4, the new entry track at Oropi. Pretty rough, pretty gnarly down section that you kind of have to hold your speed because there's a jump at the bottom that you got to hit. So let's see how we go. A couple jumps at the top as well. Flow through tabletops. Fun little section. But now this is where we got to pick it up. Brakes on this is so good. One finger braking. Right, now we've got to spot the line. Stuck in the rut here, so we've got to go wide. Big jump there, pump through. '29 is just so smooth through here. Didn't even notice the bumps. Pinchy climb, gears are working mint. Shout out Cycle Obsession for getting it all tuned up perfect. Alright, so another good thing about this bike, you can still touch the rear shock, switch it to lockout, and man, it does a lot. Stiffens up the bike, puts all your power straight through to the ground. This bike's just eating up the climb. So impressive. Onto our next steep climb. This is really rough. Probably lock it out again and just burn up here. Alright, we made it to the top of the climb. Quick little breath. Right, so now we're going to drop into our second descending track. This is what they call the Pines Loop, Pines downhill, so we'll catch this all the way to the bottom. A few tabletops through the range, so it's going to be really cool. Really going to focus on seeing how well this holds its speed through the corners, and if we can generate speed from pumping. Alright, let's get in the right gear, click up a couple. We'll just focus on less brakes and just railing these turns. A little slick. So much confidence in the grip of this bike. Super comfortable. Bit harder to turn sharp being 29, but does everything so good. Just dancing over the roots. See how it goes through here. Right, now for the jumps. Super easy. Just a little bit overgrown. And now back descending. Oh. Straight into the mud. Super impressed with this bike already. The way it can generate speed forward, good pumping and over roots and rocks is really impressive. Stands out a lot. Bounces over everything, but keeps propelling you forward. You pick up speed so quick. So now we're going to go across the bridge. Then we got a easy climb up to the jumps, then we'll see how it goes over some gap jumps, or kind of tabletops, but they're quite big. Alright, diving back into some more single track. Don't think I need to lock it out through here, but it's still pretty rough. But so much control, really stable, well balanced. Having the bigger forks on the front definitely help with cornering confidence. Right, so now we got the big climb. Lock out the back, and I'll even lock out the front. See how this goes. We'll just sit down and crank our way up. No issues at all. Alright, so we have a quick breather at the top here. So we got some fun little jumps to hit. Right, so before we drop into these jumps, gonna just unlock the suspension again so we get it nice and soft. In case we come up short or over jump these jumps, we can use this big suspension to soak it up. This is going to be the first time hitting jumps on this bike. Very interested to see how well it floats, and if we can get some really good drive off the back, be a good tell if this bike's going to be super competitive. So this isn't like a sponsored post or anything by Giant or anything. I brought this bike from Cycle Obsession. They really hooked it up with a good deal. Couldn't say no to it. So if you are looking for a Giant bike or Trek bike or anything like that, make sure to hit the website in the description, get you in contact with them and see if they can sort you out a good deal. Alright, so we'll just click up some gears before we drop in. There's about 5 or 6 jumps through here. I think it's 6. And we're just gonna take it easy, try to get a bit steezy, see what we can do. Big jump, super smooth. Gap jump here, tabletop, and then big tabletop. And now our last scrub jump. Right into the mud pit. Love that section so much. So I was super surprised at how smooth that was to jump. Really generates a lot of pump from those landings. The suspension setup's perfect. Pretty easy to throw around as well. Throw a few whips in there. But now we got another long climb up to, we do the Grim Reaper trail, so we'll just cruise our way through and we'll try and make it to the top. Alright, that's our last little pinch of the climb before we turn around and come back down into our trail. Alright, we're going to hit it down Grim Reaper. This is a pretty gnarly grade 4, maybe grade 5 depending on how fast you're going. It's going to be a good test to see how well we're going over roots. A lot of roots in this bit, a couple tight turns, but it's pretty straight other than that. And we'll just try to maintain a good steady average speed. And there will just be one more trail to climb and descend after this one. Let's drop in, try not to override it, but I also want to try and get some personal best times. Start cranking now. Pump through. Big turn here, hard on the brakes. Another big turn on the pedals. Try sliding into these turns. Hop over there. Washed away quite a bit. Big jump to finish. Cornering was a little bit difficult being the bigger wheels and the cornering so tight, but I think a mullet setup would change that, make it super easy to turn. Alright, so I think I'll lock out the rear shock for this one, going up to the fence line. So the track we're going to be hitting is log drop, and it's a short little descent, like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, but it's pretty gnarly. Really gotta stay strong on the bike, pick your lines wisely. So I had to use the granny gear for that climb. We've used a lot of the rear shock. That mainly because I love to pump this bike and try to generate as much power forward. So I tend to be a lot harder pumping through the trail, which genuinely pumps, which seems to use up all the shock. So I might need to speed up the rebound and chuck in a little bit more PSI just to get it a bit stiffer, and then we could generate a bit more pump. For the front, haven't fully used all of it, but these trails don't have like massive drops, but this next trail might. So alright, this is going to be a gnarly one. Hopefully we can hold on, find some good lines, and hopefully there's no rocks or trees down or mud in the way. But alright, we're in a high gear. Now we're gonna dropping in. Super steep. Trying to get off the front brake and just drag the rear. Little jump. Got to stay wide here so you can make the turn. Another drop. Now we're into the gnarly rough bit. Off the drop and inside here goes to the outside. Big jump finish. That was mint. Steady pedaling our way through. Hit the straight line through here. Just climbs so nice, you can sit really tall. The seat post goes up high enough, and just getting really good pedals, really strong. Alright, on the home stretch of the climb, this bike's definitely outriding me at this point, struggling to keep up. Super impressed at how well this bike is running. Just breeze up these climbs like it's an e-bike. Alright, so super impressed how well this bike rides. Blew me away on how easy it is to climb. The descending gets so much confidence out of how stiff the frame and the forks are. You can really trust the berms a lot more than I could on the polygon, and it really repelled a lot of force forward, so you gained so much speed all around. Super fun bike to do everything on. The jumping was super fun. Got a lot of pop, which I was very surprised about. I've heard some things about these bikes being a lot harder to jump, but they're all about speed. But I think this year they've done it right and they've made this frame a lot more fun. Adding in that extra bit of suspension on the back, definitely going to help. Very excited to play around with the rear settings and the different size back wheel. It's going to be awesome. If you guys want to know anything else about this bike, just drop it down in the comments and I'll try to reply to you guys. I do have a couple big riding weekends coming up. So we got Club Champs racing, so it's going to be the first enduro type race, and then cross country, short track and long. So it's going to be fun to play around with those. Weekend after, we got a private day for the shuttle, so we're going to see how many trails we can get on this bike at the Redwoods and push the limits. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe, watch this full series of this bike. Let me know what you think or what you want me to do with this bike, and I'll see you guys in the next video.